So, we're going to talk about commercial energy. And this is my take on commercial energy, just to kind of give you context for all the coming sections. I call it realms of energy. And again, it's my take on it. There's no like official thing, but I think it helps. For me, at least, break down when they talk about energy. It seems like the course outline kind of hops around and gets confusing. So, commercial energy is basically the energy we use to power our stuff. So, whether it's gasoline for our car, whether it's natural gas for cooking or for heating water or heating our home, or if it's natural gas for generating electricity or coal for generating electricity or wind power for generating electricity, commercial energy is basically the energy we use to power our stuff. Um, I break commercial energy down into three major realms. Again, this is my take on it, but it helps me to understand when they will talk about passive solar for your home and about landscaping, that is about the heating realm versus when they talk about photovoltaic cells that are another type of solar that's for generating electricity. And so I found sometimes it becomes really mushy if you don't have kind of this general framework. So I'm giving you this framework just to help this make more sense. So the three realms we're going to look at is electricity, transportation, and heating. And all the following sections in the course outline are going to kind of jump around, and it'll do nuclear and it'll do wind and hydroelectric. And even when it does solar, it'll do solar for electricity and then it'll do solar for heating. And so I try to break that down. And so this is just to give you that framework for that. So, first realm I'm going to talk a little more in depth about is commercial energy for transportation, or energy for transportation. So, pretty much residential, meaning homes, it's for our cars, or you can hop on a plane. That would be more your residential use typically. Commercial, and again, it could be buses or things too. Commercial or industrial is more trucks for transporting things for us, trains. Again, trains could also go for individuals, but trains also for transporting things. Planes, I even should have had shipping or cargo or boats, because that is the cheapest way to transport goods. I should have had that in there also. So that's transportation. Solutions, ways, in other words, that we can waste less. So a big idea is always, what are solutions? If we waste less, if we take public transportation, so if we're taking a train rather than driving our car, whether it's to downtown Chicago or something like that, carpooling, those would be other types of solutions. Getting a more efficient car would be like a hybrid car, or they'll often refer to it as a battery electric vehicle. And essentially, how that will work is when you drive the car off of the fossil fuel, what will happen is it will charge up a battery. And so then you can actually run the car off of the battery sometimes. So you're not always running your motor. I have a car, and it's not a battery electric car, but it right now it will shut off if I'm stopped at a stoplight for a while, and you just hear it kind of shut off. And I'm hearing more and more new cars are doing this sort of thing. And that technology came out of these hybrid cars, where they actually will shut the engine off when they don't need it and run off of the battery. Again, my car isn't a hybrid, but they're using that technology. And again, that's just to increase the efficiency. On a corporate level, it's the corporate annual fuel efficiency has been raised, or CAFE. The E got cut off there, but it's CAFE. And this is basically the standards. And a later video we'll talk about this, but this is the standards where they required cars to become more fuel efficient. So this is a requirement on the manufacturer, so that as a consumer, I have a choice in getting a more fuel efficient car, which means I get more miles to the gallon. So I should gas my car less often, less emissions, and I'm going to save money. So it's economically good for me, because I'm going to save money gassing it. And environmentally, there's going to be less carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, particulates, nitrous or nitrogen oxides, and things like that. Alternative methods of transportation are using differing fuels. So that would be like ethanol, which would come from, is like a renewable energy source, theoretically, because it comes from like corn or sugar cane or sugar beets. Biofuel of like biodiesel, which is an alternative for diesel fuel, which most trucks run off of. Or again, another section will talk about hydrogen fuel cells. And that would be basically, you would use hydrogen fuel for your car rather than a gasoline. Ethanol replaces like gasoline, biodiesel replaces diesel. So that's kind of the realm of the way the notes are going to go, is They're going to talk about solutions kind of at the end, and then there's going to be a lot of alternatives that the next several sections are going to talk about. So one realm of energy is transportation. Another realm of energy is heating again. So it's heating spaces, whether homes or buildings, and heating water. Probably cooking should have been also put in here too, but like heating up stuff so you don't have a cold shower. In industrial, it'd be heating for manufacturing processes. So often they will need steam and things in certain manufacturing processes. Solutions. So in your home, if you have better insulation, your furnace won't run as often, and that would be a solution. More efficient windows. So what are called double pane, P-A-N-E windows. It's two like panels of glass, or triple pane. It would be like three panels of glass with a little space of air between them. Those tend to be more efficient and less heat goes through them. Turn the thermostat down so you're not heating your home up as much. Or in a video, they'll talk about cogeneration. Again, this is going to be more for an industrial process where maybe they generate electricity, and the heat generated from it, they use that heat also for heating process or steam that they need, rather than just wasting off that heat or that energy. Alternatives for heating, they'll talk about, video will talk about passive solar, which again is like using plantings around your home, the way like awnings over some windows and things like that to help heat your home or reduce heat loss. Active solar, again, is like using like solar panel type of things for heating your home. And then there's a geothermal heating, which will essentially kind of circulate. You'll intake the air and you'll circulate it kind of in pipes in the ground, which will warm it up a little bit or cool it down actually a little bit before you bring it in your home. And again, those will all be covered in the later videos, but this is the realm of heating. So like heating, and there's alternatives, and then there are solutions. And again, I felt the videos got a little jumbled or confusing if you didn't have that framework. So that's why I'm trying to give you the framework. The last realm then is the one you probably have heard the most about, is electricity. And so for electricity, what do we use it for in our homes? A lot of our appliances, air conditioning, which is opposite from heating, but that's going to run off of a lot of electricity. That's when your electric bill is the highest in the summer. Fans in our home, recharging our cell phones, computers, lights, refrigerators. In commercial or industrial, again, it's going to be lights and air conditioning, computers, but also powering a lot of manufacturing lines. So they are going to use a lot of electricity for that. Solutions. So I'm going to kind of go over here to the side. Solutions. If I put in more efficient light bulbs, like LED light bulbs, I'm going to waste less heat. An LED light bulb can be 60% efficient plus. An old-fashioned incandescent light bulb is 5% efficient. So most of the electricity that goes into it is actually wasted. So LED light bulbs, much more efficient. Unplug devices when you're not using them. Turn the temperature up in the summer so you use less air conditioning, or Energy Star devices, which are more energy efficient devices. Alternatives, and the videos will go through a lot of these, but alternatives for electricity. And this is what you've heard of a lot of the time. Wind, photovoltaic, which are like the solar panels you typically see. Active solar, which is a lot of, if you see videos of like solar farms where there's massive solar panels, and then they're kind of collecting or constant. Solar panels are often mirrors, and they're concentrating solar heat. Hydroelectric, tides and waves, or tidal and waves. Nuclear, and there's geothermal. With this one, a lot of the time is just think about, if you said, what's an alternative way to power a car? Wind would not be. You would not put a windmill on a car. So an alternative way to power a car, you have to start thinking car transportation. Okay, that was going to be the ethanol or the biodiesel, or maybe a hydrogen fuel. So fuel cell, sorry about that. So this is why I give you this overview, or this realm, or these realms of energy. Lastly, I'm going to just show you kind of a very crazy graph, but you can kind of see a little bit of how all of this comes together. Big idea, 3 realms of energy, and having a gist of them helps you then as you go through the remainder of this unit to kind of connect it to a general realm or an idea. So this graph here is showing, again, homes, residential, commercial, industrial, and transportation. Notice transportation and industrial, manufacturing stuff for us, are used a lot. But again, transportation mainly runs off of petroleum. Okay, so our gasoline and our diesel. So most petroleum goes into transportation and some into industrial processes. If I look here, I have electricity. next one. So the electricity kind of goes into all three of these, residential, commercial, industrial. You have this tiny, tiny piece coming down to transportation. It may increase as we get more electric cars, but still a very, very small amount. And if I look what powers electricity generation, I have in here nuclear, natural gas, coal. Coal used to be more than natural gas for powering, for generating electricity, but natural gas is considered the cleanest burning, so it's actually surpassed it. And then again, my geothermal, my wind, my hydro. Notice pretty much most of those, there's tiny little pieces going elsewhere, but most of those are going to go up into that electricity generation. Solar, most of that's going to go into electricity generation. So again, there's other little pieces, but that's to kind of give you, so often we talk about alternatives and we think electricity, but there's all these different realms. There's the electricity, there's heating, and there's transportation. So I hope this overview just helps you get a sense of energy use and kind of different realms as you proceed through the rest of this unit to make those connections. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day.